Alright YouTube, so we have another information roundup for Fallout 76. We have it from a couple different sources, obviously the gameplay that came out and the people doing reviews and talking about the game. We learned some information from that. We have an article or two to look at. And then of course, you already know what it is, man. We got some Pete's tweets. First, we're going to hop into the general information that we got from some of these YouTubers and such. I don't know who to credit. I've watched so many videos, and their videos are so long. I don't want to go back through and watch every single video again to try to credit the right people. But you guys have probably watched these other bigger YouTubers' reviews and such. For starters, we know that we learned from one of them that you can actually play the game entirely solo. They heard this from Bethesda. Now, this is something we've kind of heard in the past. We've known since at least E3 this year that you can actually play the game entirely solo if you want to, but it's going to be pretty complicated because it is built from the ground up to be a multiplayer experience, a multiplayer game, so you're probably going to come across enemies that are pretty damn hard if you are by yourself, but the option is still there if you want to try it. We know the repair's back finally with Fallout 76. I hated that it wasn't in Fallout 4, but it turns out when it comes to repairing your items, you actually don't do it like within your Pip-Boy or with copies of that weapon or armor. You actually have to go to a specific bench. Now, I don't know if there's a specific bench for repairing, or if you're repairing a weapon, you got to go to a weapon bench. Repairing an armor, you got to go to an armor bench. To be honest, I kind of like the idea of this. It'll be a little weird to get used to because of Fallout 3 in New Vegas, but it's a little more realistic when you think about it, that you actually have to take your weapon or armor to some sort of a workbench to work on it, instead of being like, I'm going to scrap 2 hunting rifles to repair this one. Another quick bit of information we learned from this gameplay is that you can actually revive players, like people go into a state of super injured, critically injured, where they need to be revived. This is something I think we've kind of already seen before. I believe we've seen a perk card that has to do with reviving. Plus, if you go back to some of the earliest gameplay we ever got for the game, when it shows the 2 players fighting each other, you see the player get his arm blown off, but he drops down to his knees and isn't dead yet.
Chin up there, sport.
Now, this isn't super groundbreaking information, but we've never outright been told by Bethesda that reviving other players is even a thing. And this is good for if you're doing some PvP battles or even some PvE stuff with your friends, and you don't want to lose your junk, so you don't actually die, they can revive you. And last up, before we move on to some other information, we actually got our first look at a bobblehead in Fallout 76. Now, this I actually can credit to the right YouTuber. This comes from Juicehead's video, one of Juicehead's videos. I'll have it linked below. But if you look at this, we got the bobblehead leader. It says lead by example, and the actual effect is when used, you gain 5% more experience for 1 hour. So the thing that stands out right away is the fact that bobbleheads seem to be single-use items in Fallout 76. That's very, very different from previous games. Also, the bobblehead leader is a completely new bobblehead that we've never seen before. So this kind of opens up the door to bobbleheads being literally anything. I do still think, and it's pure speculation, that we're still going to have some permanent ones, at least with the special stats. I feel like the special stats cap out at 15. I feel like we might still have the actual special stat bobbleheads that'll let us go to 16, but that's just speculation. And if you guys have seen other bobbleheads out there from other gameplay, obviously I haven't watched every video out there, let me know for sure in the comments, because I'm really curious what some of the other bobbleheads do, and if they all are single-use items. And next up, we have some somewhat big information. We actually have a release window, kind of, for mods for Fallout 76. P. Hines did an interview with Gamespot, and in that interview he actually mentions that mods won't be in Fallout 76 until November 2019 at the absolute earliest. Now, don't take this as the actual release date. Again, this is the absolute earliest that it might happen by. But what is interesting is that mods are only going to be available on private servers. So, private servers are going to have to come out before mods are even a thing. So, hopefully, this means that we get private servers within the first year of release. To be honest, this is something they should have had with the release of the game. They should have known that a lot of people are going to be turned off by multiplayer Fallout. And with private servers, you essentially have solo Fallout 76, single-player Fallout 76. So hopefully it's something they actually get out pretty soon after release. Now on to some Pete tweets. I know you guys are super excited. Calm down. I know you guys are desperate for some more Pete Hines. First up, for a kind of quicker one, we know that if you block a player, they cannot see you on the map anymore, but they also aren't able to talk to you in proximity chat. You'll no longer hear them. This can be good if somebody's also verbally abusing you, verbally griefing you, or you get that douchebag who's just blaring music. Another kind of quicker one, Peon's actually asked about character limit, to which he says, I think there's a limit. I haven't tried to make that many characters, maybe 5. I don't really find this information that interesting because I don't even plan on making more than maybe 2 characters. My first character, obviously I'm going to get some things wrong, but we're going to use that character to learn about the game, to learn about perks in the game, and then I'll decide my character build more specifically with probably my second character. But outside of 2 characters, I don't really see myself making 5. More people than I would expect have actually asked behinds pretty much if you were to hop in and help somebody finish a quest, would you also complete that quest, which is a pretty obvious no for pretty much every game I've ever played. But if you didn't know, behinds replies with, each of you would have to activate the quest, and each would need to finish. If you were doing something like a group event, I don't know what would happen if you log off in the middle. This is pretty standard for any kind of like MMO type of multiplayer game that I've ever played. ESO is a good example if you guys have or haven't played it. You can help people with any quest. Like, you can be a level 100 guy and help a level 1 guy complete a quest. But unless you actually accept that quest as well, you're not actually going to complete it. You would just get the loot from the downed enemies, you get the experience from killing any of the enemies, but you're not actually going to finish the quest itself and get the rewards that quest offers. This one I found to be pretty interesting. This person asks, say someone has a bounty and they block someone. Can the person they block still see them on the map? P replies with, I don't know for certain, but in talking to devs, having a bounty supersedes all other flags. So you can't get a bounty and then try blocking everyone in the game with you to avoid them. You're flagged to everyone as a murderer. That would be my guess. I'm pretty sure this is a question I asked in one of my previous videos, because it'd be kind of broken if the bounty system was, this be-all, end-all. Like, you kill somebody, you murder somebody, you're wanted, everybody can see you, you can't see anybody else, the bounty comes out of your caps, all this other stuff, but then it's like, I can just block everybody in the lobby, and they can't see me anyways. Like, to me, that seems pretty obvious that wouldn't be a possibility. Again, Pine said that he doesn't know for sure, for certain, but I'm pretty sure that's how it would work as well. This one also found to be pretty informative. This person asked behinds, if you have a high charisma, your perks apply to your teammates. Is it one perk, or is it all perks that qualify for the charisma divided by 3? To which he replies, you have to pick the perk cards or cards to share. You don't get to share them all. It's already powerful. That'd be insane. First up, I have no idea what they're talking about with the charisma value divided by 3. I don't even know what's going on there, but clearly you don't get to share every single perk card you have with all of your teammates, because then charisma would be the only thing that people would invest in. Everybody would max charisma to 15. That's pretty obvious, so no. Obviously, you cannot share every single perk card you have with all of your teammates. The main thing I want to point out, though, is that Pines mentions that you can share a card or cards with your teammates, which is kind of interesting, because I don't think we've ever heard that you're actually able to share multiple perk cards with your teammates. We've only ever heard that you can share higher end perk cards if you invest in charisma, but we never really heard that one person can share multiple perk cards with their entire teammates. So charisma might be very, very powerful. My dude asked Pete Hines, is your stash linked to only one of the user's characters, or is it shared between all of the user's characters? To which he replies, each character stash is separate. You don't trade in-game items between characters. This is actually a pretty good question. A lot of multiplayer games actually do allow this. ESO, again, is a good example. You have a bank in ESO. You can store items in that bank. And when you do, it's actually something that all of your characters, all your profiles can actually access. So say you have a level 15 character, and one of your stronger profiles, you come across a really good weapon for a level 15 character, good armor, whatever, put it in the bank, switch over to that character, pull it out of the bank, and equip it. This is something I think they should work on in the future, because this will actually promote multiple playthroughs and multiple characters, because some people will be turned off by the aspect of having to start completely over. And I think it'd be pretty cool if you could start a new character, but know that you're going to have pretty good equipment from the beginning of the game. And the last bit of info I want to look at is the fact that you actually cannot respec your special stats. This is a conversation that me and Coach Toolshed actually had a couple months ago in one of my videos. This is both good and bad, but the bad is like very, very small, just because it would be nice to be able to respec your special stats if you want to, but this actually would promote the multiple characters. If you could reset all of your special stats, there would never be a need to make a second character, because as we know, you can customize your character at any point in time. Change their skin color, their gender, anything. You can do whatever you want at any point in time. And also, as we know, you can swap out perks at any point in time as well. So if you could reset all of your special stats, you would never really have a need to create a second character, because then it's like, well, I need this amount in strength and this amount in intelligence, and you can just do that. But since we can't respec our special stats, this will actually promote a second playthrough or a second character, because you're probably going to get things wrong on your first playthrough. To me, this isn't a bad thing at all, because like I said, I'm probably going to create a second character, because I'm going to get things wrong on my first character. And with your first playthrough, your first character, you're going to learn about all the different perk cards in the game. You're going to learn what kind of character build you want, and that's where that second character is going to come into play. And again, if you could reset all of your special stats, you would never need a second character. Anyways, my dudes, that's the video. Some pretty good information. It seems like the only place we're really going to get critical information for Fallout 76 is from Pete Hines and people asking very specific questions, because there's really not any general information left to know. Like, we kind of know everything about the game at this point, so you got to ask very specific questions like, can I respec my special stats? Or are stashes shared between multiple characters, etc., etc. So as usual, guys, let me know your thoughts below about the information we talked about in today's video. The most interesting thing to me was not being able to reset our special stats, but I'm also very interested in the bobbleheads. And if you guys went on to enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter at TheDashingDavid, at my Discord. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while. Quit acting like a baby, or at least less like